Yo, what's going on, everybody? This is Dylan Talk Sports. My name is Dylan. In this video, what we're going to be doing is we're going to be reacting to the Missouri versus Ohio State game where the final score was Missouri 14, Ohio State 3. This was a rough one. This is a game that I wish I could just unsee, bleach my eyes, never watch it again. Ohio State's defense looked like they showed up in the game until about the fourth quarter, then they just completely fell asleep, and the offense was just nowhere to be seen. Devin Brown went down. Lincoln, forget the last name, came in. He tried to do something, the true freshman. He did absolutely nothing. There's going to be a lot of changes coming with Ohio State in the offseason, but what we're going to be doing in this video is just kind of reviewing the game, talking about kind of how it went from the first quarter to the fourth quarter. We're going to talk about the quarterback play. We're going to talk about how the offensive line looked like it had no fight whatsoever in this game. We're not going to really talk about the defense too much because they played good. I'm not going to lie. They played good until that fourth quarter where things were just looking like the offense was not going to do jack shit. And then I think the defense, they couldn't hold up any longer. But like I said, we're going to kind of go through and review the entire game and just talk about everything as a whole. So we're going to get right into this. As always, if you're going to enjoy today's video, make sure you go and drop a like. Very much appreciative if you do so. And without further ado, let's get into it. Now with this game, there's not going to really be much to review about the game other than, like I said, the first quarter to the third quarter. If you are a fan of defense and punting, like if you're an Iowa fan, you came to the right game because this game was probably fucking awesome for you. But for me, a person who I was hoping, even if Ohio State lost, if the final score would have been like 42 to 34 or something like that, I would have been more entertained by that than this. Because at least with that, I would be like, hey, look, we're scoring. Let's try and see if we can get something rolling here. Maybe the defense can come back. With this, it's just like, I feel like even the defenses weren't really playing that well. It was just the offenses couldn't do jack shit the entire game. But let's kind of go through it. I mean, like I said, first quarter, offenses were kind of MIA. Ohio State got some good field position at the end of the first quarter, got that field goal. But then after that, it felt like Ohio State with Lincoln out there, he was just stuck backwards inside the 10-yard line the entire game. There was a few times where he was able to push the ball out to like 20 and 30-yard line, but then they still had to punt. This game was just like a very back and forth whenever it comes to field position, and neither team wanted to give in the entire first half. Ohio State tried to throw a lot of things at Missouri. I mean, they tried to do some trick plays. They tried to do like a little end around Brand Innes to Emeka Egbuka. Emeka Egbuka tried to throw it downfield. Cardinal Tate. Missouri did not bite on it. They tried to get Devin Brown moving. He ended up getting hurt. We'll talk about him in a minute. We even tried to get the run game going, and there was a few times where TreVeyon Henderson did pop a few. But other than that, it's like he was just getting swallowed up. And like I said, the offensive line was not, they did not play well. We'll get into them as well in a second, but they did not play well in this game. Emeka Egbuka, I was surprised even wanted to play in this game. He got 6 catches, 63 yards. He was the number one guy because Marvin Harrison Jr. did not play. So Emeka had to take over the number one role, and he looked like he was getting open. It's just these quarterbacks, man, they could not find the receivers. But overall, kind of going into the fourth quarter, like I said, third quarter, Ohio State was playing well, but then we got into that fourth quarter, and it was all Missouri. They scored that touchdown that opened up the fourth quarter. And in that moment, I wasn't like collapsing and saying like, there it is, we lost the game. But I was at least saying, can we still fight? Like, can this offense come out here and be like, okay, Missouri put up a score. Offense, can we bounce back and respond? And I'm not going to lie, we kind of did respond. I mean, if you look right here, right after Missouri scored that touchdown, first play, pass to Emeka Egbuka, 25 yards, a big chunk play. Then we had the complete pass to G. Scott. Then we had to do a little run play to TreVeyon Henderson, which I thought he could have broke up for at least 10 yards caught on the inside. He cut to the outside, only got 1 yard. We got the quarterback sneak, and I'm thinking, okay, here we go. We're at the 37-yard line or 39-yard line. Let's see if we can get some momentum going. What do? We're on the ball. Cool. 2 yards. It is what it is. Then we get to TreVeyon Henderson and a loss of fucking 3. Like I said, we're going to talk about the offensive line. But then from there, 3rd and 11, passing complete. He looked like he kind of dirted the ball to Xavier Johnson where he had a man open. And there was a couple of throws in this game where, like I said, the quarterbacks, they just did not play well. And they had throws out there they left on the field. But it was just a mess. I mean, you had to punt the ball there. Missouri got the ball back. They ran the clock the hell down. Went down, scored a touchdown. Ohio State got the ball back. And we didn't really do anything else with it. I mean, we got back down to Missouri's territory. But we ended up having to just basically fuck around. Trying to pull a miracle out of our asses. It got fumbled. It looked like it was going to be a 4 pass, but the ball got knocked out right before he ended up fumbling it, and by then, it was the end of the game. So first up, I just kind of want to give a quick credit to Missouri. They played a hell of a game. For any Missouri fan that possibly is scrolling by, they saw this video, they're trying to type in the comments, like, ha, 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 Ohio State sucks, Missouri's the best. I'm giving you your flowers, man. You won, fair and square, you kicked our asses. Our offensive line couldn't handle with your defense. Y'all defense was just blitzing the shit out of us. We couldn't keep our quarterbacks upright, and we couldn't get a run game going. You beat us. There's no other way to say it. You beat us. I will say our receivers, they got open a couple times. It's just like I've been saying, our quarterback could not get the ball to you. Now, real quick, let's kind of go through the defense because, like I said, I'm not going to talk about them too much because they played well. but I do want to talk about how Missouri played against our defense. Missouri's offense, the entire offense, what it was, run the ball, Brady Cook, quarterback draws, and deep passes. That was their offense. And for the most part, we locked them up. I mean, if you look at Missouri, the way they caught the ball, one big catch to Marquise Johnson downfield, which got them in position to go score that rushing touchdown. Other than that, it was Brady Cook running. I mean, that's all they did. I mean, Brady Cook, 19 carries for 66 yards. Cody Schrader had the 29 carries for 128 yards, had the rushing touchdown, obviously. But other than Brady Cook and Cody Schrader, in that one big play to Marquise Johnson, their offense was stagnant just as much as Ohio State's. So when it comes to Ohio State's defense, I think they played an exceptional game. It's just, in the end, I mean, you have to think of it. Look at Ohio State's pass, and I'm going back even like 10 years. When Ohio State is able to score at least 20, like we're usually accustomed to scoring at least 20 points. I mean, don't we have like a record of like scoring upwards of like at least 17 points in a game? And when we score 3 points, you're not going to win a lot of games because we ain't Iowa. We're used to scoring at least, like I said, 17, 20 points. At a minimum, can you at least give us a touchdown to give the defense a reason to fight? Because I know the defense is going to fight to the last second, but at some point when you're down 14-3, it's like, and you're only scoring 3 points, and your only points was a field goal in the first quarter, and then you also had a missed field goal in the second quarter, what's there to fight for? So like I said, I think the defense played great. They're going to come back. They're going to bounce back. The big thing they do need to work on, and I've said this even last season, and it seems like that's still an issue this season of going back for the Michigan game and now this game, their run defense is trash. Now, they have had some high school recruits coming in that are going to possibly, and some guys that they already have on the team that are going to be stepping in after this season. Hopefully, they can fill that void and they can help us stop the run. Pass rush, I think, is not a problem. Jack Sawyer, if he decides to come back, that'll be huge. He'll be able to keep up that pass rush. But our run stopping is, I'm telling you, man, it's trash. And especially the quarterback run game. That is hurting us. Now let's get on to our offense. First up, like I said, the run game, it was there. It just never was able to expand beyond what we wanted it to be. Like, you saw the windows opening. It's just Missouri was there to shut it down. I mean, every single time Jerry Henderson had, like, he saw the hole, but it just got swallowed up immediately. Little side note that I want to ask about, if anybody out there is a coach or understands coaching of players, why is it with Ohio State and when our quarterbacks hand the ball off to our running backs, it's like a so slow of a handoff? But when you watch other teams like in the SEC, ACC, anywhere else, it's snap, ball, running backs out of there. But with us, it's snap, turn, slow handoff, the offensive line slowly moving. Where's the fast moving, like little handoff, draws, zone reads, schemes? Where did that go from Ohio State? Because it seems like we had that back when JT Barrett was the quarterback, especially with JT Barrett, because he could run, even Justin Fields. And I'm wondering, do we need to get that mobile quarterback back? Because if Devin Brown was going to be the mobile guy for us, and now that he's gone, we have nothing, that's scaring me. Let's go down to the receiving. Like I said, Emeka Buka, he played okay. The thing that's scaring me about this offense is, how are we supposed to be the best in America, the best receivers ever, and we get 10 total catches from our receivers? And when you look at this stat, Xavier Johnson, he's a senior. He graduated. I'm pretty sure he can't come back if he wanted to. He's gone. Emeka Buka, after that showing and knowing that who the hell is going to be the quarterback next season, unless he's willing to risk it for the biscuit and say, Aaron Nolan, you're my guy, start him now, and he wants to come back and play with him, Emeka Buka might be going to the NFL, and then right there's 2 guys gone. You telling me next season we're going to really be running out there with Brandon Ennis, Cardinal Tate, probably Jeremiah Smith, and then Malachi Graham, I think is the other 5-star receiver that just came in this class. You're going to be going out there with basically 4 guys that are all sophomores and freshmen. Do we really want to do that? I would like to at least have one proven starter, like a junior or even like a redshirt sophomore, somebody that's been here at least a year or 2 and been on the field a lot. Cardinal Tate has been on the field. He's shown that he can hang out there with the starters. I just don't know yet. That's the big thing. I don't know yet. And I realize you can't really get good until you're on the field and we see what they can do. It's just going to be a rough offseason, I think, because we've had so many great receivers, and I understand we're like a receiver factory. We can just keep churning them out, first round picks, but this class gonna feel different. Like, this one feels different. The fact that Marvin Harrison Jr., we didn't know what he was when he first came in. I get it, and then he developed into what he is now. Julian Fleming, he's now transferred out, and Emeka Buka, who knows what he's gonna do. It's gonna be really interesting to see what the receivers are gonna look like next season. And like I said with the quarterbacks, Lincoln, he played okay. Here's the thing: the announcers are even saying it. He's given maybe at that moment, because he wasn't even expected to play, he probably knows like 10% of the playbook. And I said this about Kyle McCord back whenever he first became the starter way back in week 1 against Indiana. Lincoln now is like in the same boat as what Kyle was. He's given maybe 5 to 10% of the playbook and just run with it. I think Devin Brown, before he got hurt, he was going to be a pretty good quarterback in this game. I think he had the potential. Like, you saw some of the throws he was making, and you saw the routes they were giving him. Like, they were giving him some decent routes for the receivers. The problem was, his offensive line could not block for him. I mean, there was a lot of throws where Devin Brown had the throw there. He just was getting hit. He was getting bullied. His offensive line couldn't hold up. This is going to be the biggest question mark going into the offseason. This, and then the offensive line, which is where I'm going to kind of wrap it up by saying this. The offensive line needs to get better. And Ryan Day, he was asked about in the offseason, or asked in the post-game press conference, about what changes are going to have to be made in this offseason in order for the Ohio State to, I guess you could say, get back to what they were. There's going to be some people getting fired. That's what I'm going to say. There's going to be some people getting fired. There's going to be transfer portal activity, I think. Cam Ward, maybe. Somebody, at least, they're going to need to get a transfer in here, because unless they're going to be just saying, we trust Devin Brown after what we saw last night, or even saying we trust Lincoln after we saw last night, I don't know. And even with Aaron Nolan, like, he's a really good receiver, 5-star receiver, or quarterback, I mean. Is he going to be ready week 1 to just go right out there on the field? I don't think Ryan Day is going to do that to a kid. So, kind of wrap it up, I'll say this. Ohio State's going to have to make some changes. Lincoln, Devin Brown. One of you two, I think you're going to get the spring to kind of battle and see who could be the guy. But Aaron Nolan's also going to get some reps. And if Aaron Nolan goes out there and he is just balling out and he is understanding the offense, Ryan Day's studying with him, and Aaron Nolan's able to give feedback on plays, and he's able to be as smart as, say, like even C.J. Stroud was, Ryan Day's going to look at that and he's going to say, okay, you two dum-dums, go to the bench. Aaron Nolan, come with me. We need to do some work. So if I had to give a prediction, I'm going to say this. And this was also said about with Ohio State, with Ryan Day possibly needing to fire somebody. Justin Fry, I think, is the offensive line coach. He was hired, I think, a few years ago because of the offensive line being so bad, and then they kind of fixed it, but then they brought in a lot of those big-time recruits. We already know DeJuan Jones and Josh Weibler. There was a lot of big-timers offensive linemen with us. They've all now gone on to the NFL. Paris Johnson, forgot about him. They've all gone to the NFL. These guys that we have now, I don't know about them. We need to get better offensive line help through the recruiting process or even transfer portal. In this latest class, I think the highest recruited offensive lineman we got maybe was like a 3 or 4-star recruit. Where's the 5 stars at? Because we have said it for the past 2 years. Our line of scrimmage is getting bullied. Our D-line is getting bullied, especially whenever it comes to the run game. And our offensive line is getting bullied in every phase of the game. Pass blocking, run blocking, or hell, just even standing there. It doesn't matter what they're there for. They were getting bullied. The tight end senior from Cade Stover, he's gone after the season. And he's out there. He has nothing to play for in this game, and he's over here screaming at his offensive line like, would y'all pull your fucking heads out of your ass and care about this team? I just think this Ohio State team, they have no fight. The problem is they are starting to remind me, and this is a bad analogy. You're going to hate me for this if you're still watching. I see Ryan Day as like a Mike Tomlin. He's going to win a lot of games, but he's struggling to win the big games because he is letting his guys goof around too much, and they're not taking this shit serious. And I mean going back to before the game, they're running through hotel lobbies and running up and down the thing and getting silly, and then before the games, like an hour before the game, they're out there with their helmets on doing their little crisscross applesauce hooping and doing their little dances, clap, clap, clap. Fuck that shit. Cut that out. And I know a lot of people hate him, but Urban Meyer, I think Urban Meyer needs to come into this team in the offseason in like the spring and go in. Ryan Day needs to put his ego aside, bring Urban Meyer back in, and have him just go sit down with the team and talk to them for like an hour. And just give them the mindset of what Urban Meyer instilled in his players, of why they were great, why they went to national championships, why they were in the playoffs. Because if they don't get back to that, and they don't get like locked in and understand that this is not a game. Ohio State wants to beat Michigan, win Big Ten titles, and be having a shot to compete for titles. And even if you don't go for the playoffs, at least win your fucking bowl game. Because even if you don't make the playoffs, a bowl game still helps your program out. And this last thing I'm going to say, it kind of goes to every team in college football. I think there's times where players, they go to schools, and don't get me wrong, it kind of goes to do with like players opting out, going to the NFL. If you're going to the NFL, more power to you. Go get your money. But for the players that are opting out or transferring out or just opting out because they just don't want to play, why did you come to this university? Because there's some people out there that they go to the university of their choice because they wanted to be there. They love this program. I mean, you look at Hall of Famers who talk about their alma mater and they love their alma mater. They support them to their dead. Nowadays, these kids, there's guys that will literally go to Alabama and commit there, then they'll transfer to Auburn, or guys that will go to Michigan and commit to, or transfer to Ohio State, or go to Washington State and then transfer to Washington. Like, they'll transfer literally to their rivals just for the fun of it. I don't really got much else to say other than this. Ohio State needs to fix their shit in the offseason. How they're going to do it, I don't know. I'd be more than welcome to talk about it more in another video if you guys want me to. But other than that, that's going to do it for today's video. Hopefully you guys did go on to enjoy today's video. As always with the videos that I do post here, if you wanted to enjoy, make sure you go and drop a like. Very much appreciated if you do so. If you wanted to watch the entire today's video, thank you very much. And maybe I missed a detail about this game. You're an Ohio State fan, Missouri fan, you want to leave your comment. I'll leave a comment down below of what you thought about the game, of how it went, Devin Brown, Lincoln, how you think those quarterbacks did, the offensive line, what you think Ohio State needs to do changes-wise in the offseason to get back to what they once were. Let me know down in the comment section down below what you think about the whole thing. If you're a fan of the content that I do post here and you want to go and hit that big red subscribe button, feel free to do so, and do not forget to hit that little notification bell to be notified the second I post. But without further ado, this has been Donald Talk Sports. Have a great day. Peace.